Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the saga that is our 2022 F150. Today is an exciting day. Justin over at Jordan Performance and Racing got our Whipple supercharger installed. We went with the Gen 5 Stage 2 system. That includes Whipple's big 132mm throttle body. Right now, stock pulley and 93 octane. Truck drives great. So we're going to definitely tune this thing up. We've got plans to install our JD Performance Solutions fuel system. We've got a smaller pulley to go onto it and some E85, so should be some exciting numbers from that. We're going to go through a little bit of the process of what we do when we're developing these tunes, kind of explain to you guys my process, my logic, and what goes into actually making one of these tunes. We'll finish up the episode on the dyno, showing the gains on both 93 octane and E85, and then obviously the small pulley as well. So lots of cool and exciting things coming up. You guys stay tuned. I think you're going to like it. All right guys, so you're probably wondering why we started this video not on the dyno, right? Well, that's because we don't start the tuning process on the dyno actually. So, you know, I've touched on this before in the past, but it's worth mentioning again. You know, the actual dyno part of the process of tuning is actually, you know, the easy part, we'll say, right? You know, strap it on the dyno, just a few things, make a little extra power. I've made the joke that any monkey with a laptop can do that. So that in reality is a very short part of the process, and really, in my opinion, is a very small portion of what makes a good tune a good tune. So my process and how we always start the development process is by starting with just driving the vehicle. So after we got the Whipple installed, we put the Whipple tune into it, and I just drove it around for a couple of days, and I'm really just looking for, you know, where can I improve upon this? What is there something that bothers me about the tune or the behavior of the vehicle? Is there something that doesn't feel quite right? Maybe a dead spot acceleration or something like that. There's all these little things that you only really notice after you put some miles on a vehicle and you drive it and you put it through several different driving scenarios. And you know, happy to say that the Whipple tune actually drove really well. Makes my job a little more difficult, but it did drive really, really well. Definitely found some things that we can improve. And really, that's kind of the name of the game. Whenever we're developing a tune, my goal is always to make the vehicle more enjoyable to drive. At the end of the day, that's what you get a tune for. Improving performance or adding power and whatnot, yes, that's part of the puzzle. Yes, that's always great. But sometimes you may not even be able to increase power that much on a vehicle, depending upon, you know, how the original or stock calibration is. But you can make a drastic improvement in the way that vehicle drives through other modes of tuning that don't necessarily increase total horsepower output. And you know, that kind of brings me to the next point of, there's this term that likes to get thrown around the internet all the time of aggressive tunes. This tune is aggressive, this tune isn't aggressive. Frankly, that's bullshit. So there's no more aggressive or anything like that. I mean, yes, granted there is, but you know, there's a philosophy that I like to live by when we're doing this tuning, and any sort of tuning. You know, generally speaking, you know, you can get 95% of the performance out of the vehicle and do so without drastically decreasing the reliability or the longevity of the vehicle. And that's always our goal. You know, I want to be able to improve the performance. Again, the goal is to improve the driving experience and make it more enjoyable to drive. But if we're doing that at the expense of vehicle reliability, and we're going to have trucks blowing up every other day, well, then really, is that a benefit? And, you know, that's kind of the way that I view things. You get to the point of diminishing returns at some point where, yeah, you can make that extra 5 horsepower, but that extra 5 horsepower might increase the risk profile by 10-fold, for example. So, you know, is it worth it? No, definitely not. You know, now, if we're a competitive racer and we need every single hundredth that we can get, then maybe that extra 5 horsepower is worth the added risk, maybe. But that's an individual situation that's addressed on a case-by-case basis. I'm not going to tune every single vehicle and throw it out there and put it on the absolute ragged edge and hope that it just doesn't blow up. That doesn't make any sense. We're not going to have happy customers that way. And in the grand scheme of things, 99% of people don't need it. You don't need that extra 5 horsepower. You know, you're not going to notice it at all. The vast majority of people with one of these trucks are going to do what? They just want to drive it every day. They want to have a vehicle that's fun to drive and enjoyable. Maybe they're going to take it to the racetrack once in a while and run a pass or two. But, you know, really the truck's going to live its life as transportation, as a vehicle. And, you know, we recognize that. And so whenever we're developing a tune, that's always our focus. Number one, make the vehicle more enjoyable to drive. There's lots of ways to do that, not just by adding horsepower. Adding horsepower is one of the things we attempt to do, always. But if you just can't add horsepower, maybe fuel quality doesn't allow it, etc., well, then there are other ways that we can improve the drivability of the vehicle. And that's what this whole process of driving this vehicle around for a few days is all about. So that's what we did first and foremost with this truck. I drove it around for quite a bit, found some things that I thought maybe we could improve upon. Then we start making changes bit by bit. Make a change, go out, drive it some more, test it. Well, did we get the result we were looking for? Yeah, we did. Okay, great. Does it need to go further in that direction? Yeah, it does. Well, let's adjust it a little bit more. Oh, wait, we didn't get the result we're looking for. Okay, let's bring it back and let's see if we can adjust a different parameter that's going to get us to the result that we're looking for. So that's kind of the meat and potatoes, I guess, of kind of what we do when we're developing a tune. And that's why we're able to offer these tunes that are not only, you know, great performing tunes, but they're also really great to drive. You can also use the truck like a truck, and you're not going to have to worry about, you know, reliability or, you know, that you're driving on the ragged edge all the time. We can definitely do that. If we've got competitive drag racers and every single 1/10 of a second in ET matters to you, sure, no problem. We can tune it. We'll push the envelope. We'll make it as fast as it can possibly go for you. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's a very, very small percentage of our customers and our client base, and it doesn't make any sense for us to offer this bleeding edge tune to every single person that buys a tune from us. So, you know, that's in a nutshell, I guess. If let's get rid of that whole term aggressive, not aggressive, or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't apply, guys. These are custom tunes. They can be made however you like them, but at the end of the day, our goal is to improve the enjoyment and the use of this vehicle, improve the way it drives, make it more pleasurable and enjoyable, and we can definitely do that without pulling the pin on the grenade, and that's what we do. So I'm going to put a few more miles in this thing. We're going to head over to Justin's shop. We're going to get this thing on the dyno, and we're going to show you guys some power numbers, because everybody loves power numbers, right? So stay tuned, and we'll be back here just shortly.